You. And let's go over to senior member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, California Representative Brad Sherman. Good morning to you, Brad. Let me get my words out correctly. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman Sherman. What more can you tell us about this unidentified flying object that was shot down over Alaska?
Well, we don't know much about it. It's small. It could be a real weather balloon that China sent in order to support their bogus claim that the first balloon was just a weather balloon. It could have been sent before the Chinese knew that we discovered the balloon over Montana as part of a continuing effort. But the balloon is the smallest part of all the balloons, or just the smallest part of China's invasion of our sovereignty. The way that they control American corporations by treating access to the Chinese market like dog training treats. You saw that when the NBA, one person at the NBA just mentioned Hong Kong, and all of a sudden that person was fired. But you see this across the board in corporate America as it strives to comply with the demands of the Chinese Communist Party.
You know, Congressman, we just got an update from Ali Rav about the debris and the latest on how much was found, and more debris found at the bottom of the ocean. What else are you learning about it, and what do you believe is to come out of this eventually?
Well, I think it's good that we shot it down over shallow water. We'll probably recover a lot of it. The second one shot down over ice, so the impact may destroy some of it, but it'll even be easier to get our hands on it. But I think what it tells us most is that China has been pushing us around for 20 years, and they think they can do anything. The most interesting part is they attacked us for shooting down their spy balloon, saying they reserve the right to retaliate against us for defending our own territory. That is because China has successfully run up the largest trade deficit in the history of international trade by using one unfair trade mechanism after another. And we've done nothing about it because Wall Street makes a lot of money over a system that takes a lot of jobs out of America and puts a lot of power in Beijing.
Yeah, China seems to be digging its heels in here. This all comes at a pivotal moment between U.S. and China relations. Beijing now says that it rejected a recent call from the U.S. over this incident because, quote, the atmosphere isn't right. Where do you think the situation goes from here as American officials try to kind of navigate forward? What do you think America should be doing to get things back on track?
Well, what I fear will happen is literally the balloon will blow over. We'll sanction a few Chinese entities and say they can't buy things from the United States, which just means that some other company in China will do the buying and then turn it over to the first company. What I hope happens is a package of bills that I described on the floor that I'll be introducing, one of which is to sell more defense articles to Taiwan, a second of which is to indicate that we take away automatically all of China's trade relations with the United States if they invade or blockade Taiwan. And the third is to force American companies to reveal in their reports to shareholders how dependent they are on China. Hopefully that will inspire them to become less dependent and to compete for capital from American investors by showing how resilient they would be to what may be an interruption in our economic relationship with China. We don't know where this is going, and it's not just a balloon.
And really quickly, last night, Senator Lisa Murkowski sat down for an exclusive interview with NBC's Lester Holt. Listen to what she had to say.
But today, to know that we have yet another unidentified object successfully shot down in Alaska, making sure that the message is clear that any sovereign territory or airspace in this country, if there's a threat, if there's an incursion, there's going to be consequences.
Congressman, what do you think those consequences would look like in that case, and how is the Pentagon preparing for that?
Well, I'm hoping that it's not a Pentagon response. Shoot down one balloon, hey, they can just send another one or do something else. Their invasions of our sovereignty go way beyond what they're doing at 40 or 60,000 feet. And that's why we need a system to compensate American companies when they are mistreated by China so that they will not have to kowtow to whatever the Chinese government tells them to do. We can only send 40 movies from Hollywood to China, which means that no studio dares make a movie about Tibet, because if they do, none of their movies will get into China. That kind of control over our companies is something we need to interrupt, and we need to do that at the expense of the Chinese government.
Congressman Brad Sherman breaking it down for us this morning. Brad, we appreciate it. Congressman, we appreciate it. Thank you.